Okay, hello everyone. Thank you for taking some time with me today. I know all of you are very busy and I don't like to take up your time on IT issues because I know your number one focus needs to be taking care of your clients and running your business. So I'm going to be as brief as possible, but expect this webinar to last, say about 30 minutes or so. But I promise you, what I'm going to share with you today is an extremely important topic that you must address. And I'm going to urge you to pay attention because there is immediate action required at the end of this session that you all need to take to protect your organizations. So today I'm going to show you how I've been able to help business owners, just like all of you here today, drastically reduce security risks. I think most of you are going to be shocked at what I'm going to share with you. But the good news is that you'll know about these threats and you'll be able to protect yourself and your organizations against the growing army of cyber criminals who are working day and night to hack your systems, steal your data, corrupt your organizations, and rob you blind. So today we're going to cover a number of serious and growing threats to your organization that can no longer be ignored or passed off that just won't happen to me. Why firewalls, antivirus software aren't enough anymore to protect your organization, and what you need to have in place to protect yourself from the storm of trouble brewing. We're also going to cover how mobile phones and cloud applications are seriously jeopardizing your organization's security and data protection, and what you need to do to protect yourself. Why we'll call you when we need you IT support is truly not a safe, smart, or cost-effective alternative anymore. Ultimately, we're going to cover how to avoid being sitting ducks. Guys, here's the reality. Most of you are already using cloud computing and already have employees using, mobile devices to work. It's a trend that's not showing any sign of slowing down. However, most of you are adding these elements in some sort of slapdash, haphazardly way instead of being smart and strategic about it. And because of that, you're making an expensive mistake and exposing yourself to unnecessary risk. So guys, I got a special bonus for you. I'm going to make it available at the end of the session. It's a really valuable network and security assessment that we normally charge a lot of money for. So make sure you hang around until the very end and we'll talk to you about how you can get that free for your organization. So guys, why am I talking to you about this today? 100% of the businesses we've taken on as new clients in the past year were shocked when we showed them that they were infected with malware and viruses, even though they thought they had an antivirus and a firewall. That maybe they didn't have all their data backed up, and they had employees posting confidential information on Dropbox or other file sharing sites. You know what? The most common objection that I hear is that this won't happen to me. I'm sure most of you will acknowledge the perils of cybercrime, that they're real and true. But for some reason you refuse to accept it personally. So guys, just pay attention to the following slides. So the biggest danger is your complacency. Andrew Grove, former CEO of Intel, says success breeds complacency and complacency breeds failure. Only the paranoid survive. So guys, success in the context of our discussion today is that you might not have been attacked yet. Or if you were compromised, the consequences weren't significant. Therefore, because of your success in not being a target yet, you become complacent about the security measures in your organization. So please don't underestimate the importance of addressing and protecting yourself from this threat. The financial and the reputational ramifications, not to mention the aggravation, the business interruption, and anxiety this brings, they're all being routinely underestimated. Here's a little fact. Most fire alarms are sold after to people who've already had a fire, after they've lost everything. Most home security systems are sold in the exact same way, after someone's already violated their home, stolen their things, shaken up their sense of security, upsetting their wife and kids. All of these people never thought it would happen to them, which is why they didn't have an alarm system in the house in the first place. Guys, one single breach can produce hours of extra work for your already overburdened employees, days if not weeks of downtime, irate clients, cash flow disruptions by down systems, inability to serve clients and take orders, possibly even the inability to make payroll if your account's compromised and your funds are gone. All this will end up in your office. So a quick overview of the sophistication and proliferation of cybercrime. This is a business. I want to stress that cybercrime rings have become very sophisticated. They're well funded, they're well organized, and unlike other businesses, they simply don't have to follow the rules. So guys, in the old days, cybercrime, the business was pretty simple. You brought a gun or a knife and you hid out in a dark alley, and when someone would walk by, you jump out and you say, stick them up, and you take their money. Startup costs were low, and if you didn't get caught, you'd be okay. But of course, just like any other business, these cyber criminals started thinking, or actually these weren't cyber criminals back then, but these criminals started thinking, how can I grow my business? And of course, technology answered that question, because trains came along, and instead of just robbing one person at a time, they could rob 200-300 people at a time. And robbing trains, of course, was far more lucrative of a catch than robbing individuals, because trains were crossing remote areas where there weren't organized police forces. And, second, individuals who were wealthy enough to afford a train ticket, they were worth robbing. And they were rounded up and they were sitting in a convenient location. Now, today, thanks to the advancements in technology and ever-increasing trend of storing financial and personal information on these third-party cloud platforms, the new train robbers are cybercrime related. Think about it. If a criminal wanted to rob 100,000 people at once, they couldn't do it the old-fashioned way. Today, all that is needed is to hack into a single large platform, and they can use advanced technology to instantly rob millions, and they are, as you can tell by the increasing number of attacks that make the news every day. So, this title, 80 million households, 70 million small to medium businesses are hacked. I don't know if you remember the JP Morgan credit card hack. It wasn't just one person stealing a credit card. It was one person or a small group of people who sold tens of millions. It was estimated at 80 million personal credit cards and 7 million small to medium business in one fell swoop. And this was right on the heels of the Target and the Home Depot attacks, where 40 million credit cards were stolen from Target and 56 million from Home Depot. Think about that. Never in the history of mankind has one person or small group been able to rob so many so quickly in one fell swoop. So the criminal underground, you guys, this is a thriving market. It's not just a few guys in a garage hanging out. Anything you might need to steal data and rob people can be purchased. You can now buy credit card details, social security numbers, and other programs, devices, and software that allow you to set up your own crime ring. It's a thriving business. So look at some of the things you can purchase: credit cards, iTunes accounts, physical credit cards, card cloners, fake ATMs. Guys, this is a business. These criminals set up online businesses. They sell hacking software and tools complete with help desk and customer support. And they even give you guarantees that say if you don't get into, X number of businesses and PCs, you can get your money back. Okay, guys, 201 US dollars. What does this represent? This is the average estimated cost with one stolen record, according to the Coleman Institute. But guys, that number can encompass all of the data breach costs to your organization, such as additional damages and costs not included in the number above would be reputational damage, loss of clients, class action lawsuits, individual lawsuits, legal fees to handle the breach, compliance lawsuits, replacement of data, downtime, loss of productivity, time required to re-enter data into internal systems and get backups running again. Okay, so some of you might be thinking, hey, I'm small, I'm not a target like JP Morgan, so no one would want to hack us, right? Wrong. First of all, these larger companies, they have very sophisticated systems in place. They are not easy to hack. Therefore, if they're getting hacked, getting into your business is a cakewalk, which is why you're an even bigger target than these institutions. Sure, the prize might not be as big, but you are far easier to rob than the larger institutions, making you a prime target. And since cyber criminals have automation tools, they can simply make a large sum of money simply by targeting a few hundred or thousand businesses. Second, many cyber criminals, they're not sitting at a desk thinking, okay, who am I going to hack today? And hand selecting business and victims. No, this is all 100% automated software and bots that simply scan every business looking for easy targets. When one is found, the program automatically installs itself. So 1 in 5 businesses fall victim to cybercrime each year, and that number is growing. And small businesses, guys, you're low-hanging fruit, because you don't believe that you're a target. And half of cyber attacks are aimed at small to medium businesses. So why don't you hear more about it? Guys, I get called in when someone's been hacked. I help rectify the situation, but I don't report them. I help clean up and work with the client to remediate the issue. But think about it. It's extremely embarrassing to admit you've been hacked. Many people, many businesses don't even know that they've been hacked. And it's horrible PR. Do you really want your clients or patients to know that their information was accessed? And think about the legal ramifications, fines, lawsuits, legal fees, they can be significant. So many incidents go unreported. So just because you are worried about the information being stolen doesn't mean your customers' information and privacy is any less valuable than to them. So what if your clients or your patients found out just how casual you were about keeping their personal information safe? Do you really think that they would shrug it off? What are you doing to be a good steward to their information? Okay, the 7 biggest threats to your organizations and how to stop them. Okay, guess what, guys? Cyber thugs, they aren't your number one threat. Your employees are. Even good employees, they make mistakes. They delete files, they click on phishing emails, or they instantly log into a compromised Facebook page. Employees often use free unsecured file sharing applications like Dropbox to share confidential information, simply because they don't know better and they don't think to tell you about it. Disgruntled employees, who have been fired, pose a huge threat. And since they often have direct access to a vast number of cloud applications and the data because you've given them access, employees who are leaving or who have been fired have been known to use company data to, they make fraudulent purchases using company or customer data. They delete important data. They steal software. They steal business intellectual property that they can use at their next job. And, insider breaches, they don't get the same attention on the news as a cyber attack caused by hackers, but these attacks are a real threat, and the threat is growing. In the US, the FBI, they warned that these increased use of cloud computing means that employees are now far better able to steal, delete, manipulate a company's data. Simply put, an insider data breach is easier to pull off now than it ever was before. Shadow IT. How much of your company's data is out there on rogue applications put there by your employees who are simply just trying to do a good job? It's a good question. Do you even know the answer? Okay. How a good employee's mistake, a disgruntled vendor, and the FBI destroyed this man's business. I'm going to post the link to the story after because we're not going to have time to get into it in detail, but basically, Michael, the CEO of LabMD, he had a very successful small business. He was doing a couple million at the time, and it was a good employee who simply forgot to uncheck one box in a music sharing app. And the attack came from a disgruntled vendor who didn't like that LabMD was going to hire them. And the lawsuits, dare I say unfair attacks from the FBI is what destroyed this guy's company, not cyber criminals. So just to summarize, basically this employee downloaded a program like LimeWire, meant to download music and share music with other users, but instead shared the entire documents folder, which of course had medical records for patients who were coming in for blood work. That got shared on the internet, and now this guy's business, as you can see in the photo here, is in his garage. You simply need to know what sort of shadow IT your employees are doing, because if you have this installed on your network, you're going to be responsible. The number 2 threat is malware. 82,000 pieces of malware are being released per day. Think about that. You just simply can't think a firewall and an antivirus these days are going to protect you with the proliferation and the sophistication of these attacks. Having a firewall and an antivirus is like trying to stop a tank with a squirt gun. Number 3, bank fraud. Okay, bank customers' lawsuits are on the rise, and I'm not going to get into any of these articles, but just know that businesses nowadays are handling most of their banking using online applications or a website, and many executives trust the relationship that they have with their vendors, including their banks. And when problems come up, businesses expect the vendors to handle them. But if your online bank accounts are hacked, resulting in loss of data or funds, don't necessarily count on your bank to make everything good again. So here's some tips for protecting yourself from banking fraud. So cancel your debit cards. They're the number 1 way your bank accounts get compromised, and you probably don't need them for a business account. Have a dedicated PC for online banking, and don't use that PC for accessing any other website, email applications, social media, or for downloading any other applications. Sign up for email alerts from your bank whenever a withdrawal over $100 happens. And require your signature for any wire transfers. Have money spread out in multiple accounts to minimize the risk, and carry crime insurance. Guys, the advice on this slide is worth your entire time to watch this webinar. So take a second and note these tips. Number 4, social media. Did you know 600,000 Facebook accounts are hacked every day? This image here is of a phishing email, which is how many people have had their accounts compromised. And true story, just last week I had I don't want to say a client, but someone phoned our number because this has happened to them, and they were looking for some ways to remediate the situation because their Facebook account was actually sending out adult images to all of their friends. So this is happening, and it's very, very common. Not only that, social media, it's a significant loss of productivity. Just look at the numbers here. Do you want your employees spending their time on social media? And not only that, bad PR. I don't know if you guys remember this post. The Burger King worker who posted the picture of himself standing on bins of lettuce. Super bad PR. Make sure you control what social media your employees are posting, especially on behalf of your business. Number 5, ransomware. I'm sure you heard a lot about this on the news recently. It seems to be on, very often nowadays. But a writer once asked a literary agent, what kind of writing pays the most? Her answer, of course, was simple: ransom notes. And that's sort of what's happening today in the cybercrime world. Sensitive data in the wrong hands is being used to extort money. Let me tell you about a new twist on ransomware. This Japanese porn, this anime type porn featuring a young woman in explicit scenarios. It's very popular in Japan, and these sites offer downloads to your PC or devices to watch and access even more and to interact with the characters. However, what happens after you've been viewing the site for about 30 days, you get an email that says, Mr. X, we can tell by the screenshots on your computer and the photos taken with your PC web camera that you've really been enjoying the images and games you downloaded. Now, we want you to pay us, or we're going to email these photos to everyone in your address book. Another scary trend, even if you're innocent, there's a new ransomware that's taking hold of your phone, and it compromises it, and it downloads this illegal pornography that can't be deleted. And then you get a notification that says you're going to be reported to the authorities for possession of this illegal images unless you pay our ransom. Okay, number 6. How many of you have mobile phones. How many of them, or how many of you, access your company email? How about your employees? How many of them? How many of you have passwords to get onto your phone? What about like a kill switch, a wipe my phone type idea? If it was lost or stolen, so that you can wipe it. You know what? Mobile computing, the dangers are on the rise. Many of you who are watching may be realtors. You keep contracts on your phone. Some of you are CPAs and you keep financial information on your clients. Even as an employer, you keep information on employees, which could be deemed a data breach if not stored and encrypted. And organizations are being fined, even if nothing malicious has happened. If say a laptop or a device is stolen and it has unencrypted, say, patient information on it, and this is a real big threat right now. So if you have a laptop, make sure it's encrypted. If you have a phone, make sure it's encrypted. Don't store company data on your personal devices because there are fines for non-compliance, and this is going to vary by industry to industry. But know the regulations for your industry. Number 7, spam. Spam still remains the biggest single driver of breaches today. If you look back at some of the data breaches in recent memory, they all began with a poisoned email. So you may be asking yourself, how do I protect myself? Having a firewall and antivirus is not significant protection anymore. Today's sophisticated threats require a unified threat management approach. Employees have to be educated and tested on how to spot phishing emails and what websites to avoid, what files they shouldn't download, how to appropriately use company email and assets. In some circumstances, you might even want to lock down and limit certain activities on your company network to prevent employees from doing these things. And you need to install and maintain a professional grade backup system. If you're using a third-party cloud application, it's critical that you get your data backed up on-site or to a completely different location. Now guys, there's a great big problem here that I want you to recognize, and the problem is this. All I've done is make you aware of the problem, and frankly, yes, that's a good thing. After all, I know you'd be grateful if someone alerted you if there was a guy with a gun lurking in the bushes who wanted to rob you at gunpoint. But I don't want to just alert you. I want to give you an alternative route home. I want to give you the guard dog. I want to give you the armored car so you're not an easy prey. Because the simple fact is this. These guys are highly sophisticated and you really need to fight fire with fire. And that's why I've been working on perfecting this new service we're calling our Total IT Plan. Okay. Guys, this is the most affordable, comprehensive, and complete IT service for small business owners who really don't want to be their own IT experts and simply want someone they can trust to take all the IT-related problems off their plate. Particularly, the backups and the security side of the house. To greatly reduce your chances of getting hacked or harmed by the 7 biggest threats we've identified in today's session. This service was designed with small business owners in mind, and it is ideal for business owners who want or need to have their email, internet, IT systems up and running 24/7, 365, who cannot afford to have major outages, extended downtime, slowness, or problems. Who want to maintain the security of their data, avoid being an easy target for hackers, viruses, ransomware, and all the problems that come with a data breach. Who want to avoid unexpected, expensive IT bills for repairs and fixing problems that inevitably arise, and have reached a level of growth and maturity in their business that they truly have a need for professional IT services. Or they simply want someone they can trust to just take everything IT related off their plate, including vendor management, phone systems, internet providers, etc. And ultimately want peace of mind that their data and critical systems are secured and backed up and are at a very low rate for major outages, glitches, and extended downtime. So, to introduce you to this service and to assist you in security of your network, as discussed, There's 3 steps, and the good news is that we're going to make the first 2 steps completely free because, hey folks, you've made it this far. So step 1, the threat assessment. What's lacking in your security right now? How are your employees using your company-owned devices? What third-party cloud apps are you using? Are your systems truly backed up? Where are you exposed to risk? Whose job is it to manage your network and make sure your network is protected? And how do you know if they're doing their job? Then the action plan, based on what is discovered, what is needed to ensure your systems and data operate in a secure form and are safe from theft, compromise, corruptions, ransomware, loss, etc. And then ongoing maintenance. Once you have your system secured, you simply cannot take a set it and forget it approach. The hackers, they simply won't. So step 1, the threat assessment. We're going to come by your office and do a deep dive assessment of your network by conducting a multi-point systems check to look for fatal flaws in security, backups, and to make sure you're truly protected from the various and growing dangers presented by hackers, viruses, rogue employees, and dozens of other threats. We're going to validate that your data and your systems can actually be recovered quickly and completely in the event of a data erasing disaster, hack, or ransomware. And we're going to look for ways that we can lower IT costs while improving communication and collaboration. And then we're going to propose ways to eliminate those nagging problems, downtime, slow performance, and any other issue that you may be experiencing. Then step 2, the action plan. After conducting our assessment, we're going to provide you with a complete report of findings and health score, along with recommendations for how to remediate any issues we find. Now guys, everything we find is confidential. We're not going to report you or otherwise leak what we find. And you're going to have zero obligation to do anything or buy anything, but you will at least be informed and educated about where you are right now, and you're going to know what your options are. At that point, one of 3 things will happen. Option 1, you like the plan, but you opt to do it yourself, or you find an alternative solution. Option 2, you like the plan and opt to have us implement and manage it for you. Or option 3, you opt to do nothing. Either way, there's no obligation, no heavy sales pressure or weird sales tactics. Your client, your friend, your guest here. So our intent is to help you. So everyone who signs up will get our 7 most critical IT security protections every business must have in place now to protect themselves from cybercrime, data breach, and hacker attacks, free of charge. If you end up having us implement this plan for you, we'll include a customization of this free, along with some employee education, and we're going to train your employees how to keep your data and network secure. 2 things to know. There's only so many hours in a day, and we've set aside some time to prepare to deliver these, but we can't hold this offer open forever, so due to staff and time limitations. So it's absolutely free. I'm just going to ask you take us up on this free assessment by January 5th. And once again, there is no obligation to buy or do anything, but I'm going to suggest you look at one of our small business IT management plans. We have several, and we'll make a recommendation based on what the best solution for you is after we assess your network. So what to do now, go to our website to the Contact Us form and just fill in the form that you'd like the free network assessment. Now guys, thank you everyone for being here. We appreciate your time. As always, if you have questions or comments, please feel free to reach out to me. You can call me direct at 604-513-9428, or you can always email me, darren@coleman.biz. Thanks again for joining us today, and we hope to see you in future webinars.